Madam Justice Elaine Adair. Madam Justice Elaine Adair's career represents the expansion of the traditional notation of education, that is, STEM, to what is now known as the essential education, that is, STEAM, arts included with science, technology, engineering, and math. Beginning her academic career here at Western, Ms. Adair graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Music History in 1973, followed by a Master of Arts in 1978. Using these degrees as a foundation, she received her LLB from the University of Toronto in 1981. While at Western, Madam Justice Adair made many lifelong friends, including Dr. Ross Duffin, the Finney H. Coulis Professor of Music at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Bruce Voigt, a leading pianist, chamber music, and teacher, faculty member at the University of Victoria, Arthur Rowe, Professor of Piano, one of our alums, University of Victoria, and Ann Thompson, Lecturer of Flute at Western. Dr. Duffin attended the celebration dinner in fall 2012, at which Ms. Adair was inducted into the Faculty of Music Alumni Wall of Fame, and he did so with a proud smile and embracing congratulations. Here in the audience today is Bill Miller, who graduated 1 year ahead of Elaine with a B.Mus Theory and Composition. Also here from Vancouver is Barry Fraser, a former law colleague, and Leela Getz, an exceptional music advocate in Order of Canada. This reflects the high regard and respect Madam Justice Adair has garnered over her years. Memories of Western include hours in the classroom and library and in rehearsals, singing as an alto in the Faculty of Music Singers under the esteemed Professor Emeritus Daryl Johnson, and in the Witches' Chorus in the 1972 production of Dido and Aeneas, which she remembers as, quote, a tremendous amount of fun, end quote. After graduating in 1973 with her bachelor's degree, Madam Justice Adair was a part-time student, studying philosophy and Greek, and working in the music library, which included processing LP records, that were the big vinyl graduates, for addition to the listening library collection. In fact, some LPs with her handwriting just might still be there. She then left for the University of Toronto down the road as a philosophy student for part of the next year. Not satisfied at Toronto, she was drawn back to Western as an MA student, graduating in the fall of 1978 from the Faculty of Music. Coming back to Western was in large part due to the influence of the late Professor Philip Downs, who as a scholar and teacher made a significant impact on her thinking. And today his wife Anne and daughter Meg have joined us. Following her graduation with the LLB from the University of Toronto, and prior to her appointment as a judge, Madam Justice Adair became a highly accomplished lawyer. From 1982 to 1988, she was an associate with Strum, Little, and Hebington, followed by serving as a partner with McCarthy Treadwell LLP, and then served as a partner with Clark Wilson LLP in Vancouver. In 2008, she was appointed a judge with the Supreme Court of British Columbia. She is recognized as an expert in class action suits, developing an expertise in complex civil litigation. She has contributed to a book about class action suits and is an author of expert evidence in BC civil proceedings. Among many, many significant cases, Madam Justice Adair presided over one of the most highly publicized trials in British Columbia concerning the rights of children conceived through sperm donation. Her decision ended donor anonymity in that province. It was appealed by the government of British Columbia to the BC Court of Appeal, who allowed the appeal, and then the Supreme Court refused to grant leave. Since graduation, she has quietly supported Western through donations to the Western Fund and the Don Wright Faculty of Music, including a significant donation to her mentor, the Philip Downs Scholarship to Music History. A talented musician, scholar, lawyer, and Supreme Court Justice, Elaine Adair is a wonderful example of utilizing the creative and critical thinking skills acquired through the arts to expand and forge new career paths. Mr. Chancellor, On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and in the name of the Senate, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Civil Law, honoris causa, upon Madam Justice Elaine Adair.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Civil Law, honoris causa. Congratulations, Dr. Adair. On behalf of all assembled here today, I should now like to invite our newest alumna, Madam Justice Elaine Adair, to address Convocation.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President and Vice Chancellor, Dean Yonker, distinguished faculty, family and friends of the graduates of the Don Wright Faculty of Music, the Faculty of Arts and Humanities, and the School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, and last, but certainly not least, the graduates themselves. First, I want to say to the graduates, who are the reason that we are all here this morning, congratulations and well done. Today comes as a result of your hard work, perseverance, sacrifice, and dedication. You have achieved an important milestone in life. Your families and friends who have supported you are very proud of your achievements, and they are absolutely delighted to share this special day with you. Second, I wish to say how grateful, honored, and humbled I am to receive the degree being bestowed on me today. And to those receiving earned doctorates today, I will say that I have not completely given up the ambition to reach that achievement. Third, I wish to acknowledge my parents, who are now in their 90s and unfortunately unable to be here. Neither of my parents was able to attend university. My father grew up on the family farm in a small village northwest of Kingston, and as a 20-year-old was among the members of the Queen's Own Rifles who landed on Juno Beach on June 6, 1944. My mother was to begin university in Scotland in September 1939, having been accepted as a 16-year-old when the world changed. She was never able to fulfill her dream of attending university, but there was never any question that she valued education very highly and was more than willing to support and indeed encourage my long life as a university student. As I approached my 30s, still at school, she might have despaired from time to time that I would ever get a real job. But Mom, everything has worked out very nicely, and I couldn't have done it without you. When I was notified that I was to receive the honorary degree, I was also informed that I would be asked to give the convocation address. As I thought more about what I could say that would hopefully do justice to the occasion, I concluded that a theme was appropriate. I decided to borrow the theme that I used for the formal ceremony when I was welcomed to the British Columbia Supreme Court. The theme is a trilogy. good fortune, opportunity, and gratitude. It offers some self-reflection, a little advice, and I hope encouragement to the graduates who are embarking on a new phase of life. Some, or indeed many of you, may be wondering how a graduate of the Faculty of Music ended up a judge on the BC Supreme Court. It is something that when I graduated with my Bachelor of Music, I never would have predicted for myself. However, the explanation allows me to develop my theme and also illustrates that a solid background in the arts, and in my case in music, can prepare a person very well for success later in life. I had the extreme good fortune to arrive as a first-year student at the Faculty of Music at the same time as the man who became my beloved teacher, mentor, and dear friend, Professor Emeritus Dr. Philip Downs, who sadly passed away earlier this year. I think of good fortune as something deeper and much more meaningful than plain good luck. Its aspects include how other people add richness to one's life and provide opportunities that can be life-changing. That was certainly the case for me with Dr. Downs. Among his many talents, I found Dr. Downs to be a most inspiring teacher. One of the things that, in my opinion, made him so was his deep love and enthusiasm for music and his strong, almost palpable desire to communicate the wonders that could be found in music to others, especially to his students. Philip, by his own example, taught me what clear, insightful writing looked like and encouraged me as I developed my own skills. He gave me wonderful opportunities, both as an undergraduate and later as a graduate student, to think about, analyze, and then say something meaningful about major works of art. His confidence that I was up to the challenge and his clear expectation that I could and would perform gave me confidence to stretch myself in ways I probably would not have thought possible otherwise. It inspired me to work very hard. I have never regretted the effort. Although I had many very good teachers during the time I spent at Western, I want to mention in particular another teacher who I had the very good fortune to encounter while an undergraduate, Dr. Martha Williams, a professor in the philosophy department. Dr. Williams introduced me as a second-year student to the existentialists, especially Kierkegaard and Nietzsche. In my fourth year, she taught a seminar on Kant and Hegel. She too was an inspiring teacher who clearly loved what she was doing and loved engaging with students. Like Dr. Downs, Dr. Williams provided me with important opportunities to think about, analyze, and then try and say something intelligent about complex and often very dense ideas and concepts. And those who have studied Kant and Hegel know exactly what I'm talking about there. The skills and work habits that I developed studying with Dr. Downs and Dr. Williams, and with others as I progressed through university, have proved to be invaluable in my working life, first as a lawyer, now as a judge. Listening, for example, is an absolutely critical skill. For those thinking of law as a career, and there might be some of you here today, I'm convinced that you cannot be a good cross-examiner without being a really, really good listener. When I completed my undergraduate degree, I had no idea what I was going to do next. I share this part of my personal experience, hopefully to reduce some of the anxiety being felt by those new graduates in a similar position, and also to reassure parents and family that sometimes not having the immediate future all plotted out is not a bad thing. Timing is another aspect of good fortune in being able to make the most of opportunities. Taking the opportunity to spend some time thinking about and reflecting on serious matters is not a dispensable luxury. Certainly, as a judge, I find that it is an absolute necessity. Important decisions deserve no less. Of course, at some point, you have to make a decision. Otherwise, life just drifts by without purpose, a terrible waste. So while I was figuring out what to do, I studied Greek and philosophy. I worked in the music library. Finally, I decided I would pursue a graduate degree in music history, which I never would have done without Dr. Downs' support and encouragement. The timing was perfect because Dr. Downs was giving a full-year seminar, a graduate seminar on Beethoven. It was the best, most stimulating course I took in 12 years of university. It wasn't until I was finishing up my master's thesis that I began to examine more seriously and hopefully realistically where my talents lay and what kind of long-term career might match. Although I had friends in law school, I had never contemplated it as an option. But now things were different. I graduated from the University of Toronto Law School in 1981 and moved to Vancouver to do my articles before being called to the bar. Looking back, I seem almost laughably naive. I knew very little about the legal community in Vancouver. I had never worked in a law firm. I knew almost no lawyers, and I really had no idea what practicing law might be like. Some of you may find yourself in a similar position in the not-too-distant future when you are entering the work world with education and training, but feeling like you really don't have a clue what you were doing. Stay positive, be prepared to work hard, look for opportunities to demonstrate your talents and skills and to take on responsibility, focus on where you want to go, and seek out a mentor. I was called to the bar in British Columbia in September 1982. Now my timing looked terrible. Interest rates were approaching 20%. Law firms were shrinking, not hiring. However, I had the very good fortune once again to be hired to work for a lawyer who became a very important mentor and is now one of my colleagues on the court. I had to be willing to work hard and put in long hours, but the rewards were opportunities to do work that was interesting and challenging, that allowed me to develop skills that I would need and call upon constantly as a practicing lawyer, and to interact with people I respected, admired, and could learn from. Of course, when an opportunity presents itself, you have to be ready to take advantage of it. I found when I was working with more experienced lawyers, it was best to try and prepare as if I was going to be 100% responsible. Certainly, at the beginning, that wasn't very likely, but at least if something, indeed if anything, came up, I was going to be ready. It also allowed me to identify tasks that needed to be done and volunteer to do them, so I could actively demonstrate I was ready for responsibility. It was very good training for the job I have now, where I am, without any doubt, 100% responsible for my decisions. If you don't give yourself the opportunity to shoulder responsibility, you will never be able to experience what it feels like and how satisfying it is. So to the undergraduates, I hope and expect that you have had the good fortune to experience inspiring teachers. For graduate students going into teaching or other mentoring roles, I encourage you to model the traits you observed in your best and favorite teachers. To all, as you pursue whatever is the next stage after today, I encourage each of you to be on the lookout for opportunities to challenge and stretch yourself and to take on important responsibilities. In turn, you will be giving yourself the opportunity to experience the pride and satisfaction that can be the result. This brings me to the last element of my theme, gratitude. In my view, it is very important to model gratitude. This means both actively and sincerely giving thanks and positively demonstrating you are grateful. Giving thanks is the classic win-win. Both sides come out feeling life is better. Demonstrating gratitude presents another opportunity for creativity. Service to others and volunteer work and engaging in your community can be important and very satisfying ways to demonstrate gratitude. I strongly encourage you to exercise your creativity in a way that adds richness and meaning to your life, while modeling gratitude. I'm extremely grateful for the good fortune and opportunities I've experienced in life so far. I end with this. Congratulations again to the graduates, and thank you for inviting me to give this address and for allowing me to share this special day with you. And to Western, thank you for giving me such a wonderful start on my adult life, and thank you again from the heart for the wonderful honor.